You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. You are listening to Sunny 93.3. We've got Mr. Dan Farris joining us for the bonus hour. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing pretty darn well. I'll tell you what, I'm
Dan.
feeling fantastic because, you know, I am who I am. It is what it is. And again, wake up this morning in the greatest country ever devised.
Amen to that.
Mankind. Here's the deal. And John, I know you're a huge sports fan. Cough, cough.
Yes.
It was this day in 1918. We were just kids.
No, I wasn't born yet.
Both teams going into the World Series were threatening to strike playing the World Series if they were not guaranteed $2,500 to the winners, $1,000 to the losers.
Really?
That would have been the Red Sox and the Cubs back in 1918.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah, they got paid. They got paid. Let's flash ahead 100 years.
Exactly.
What kind of dough
What are
they
they
making
making
now?
now?
Last year's World Series, which, again, it was the Red Sox and the Dodgers. In fact, the Red Sox took it last year. Red Sox split up about 28 mil. Dodgers lost. They split up about 18 mil. So,
What a
yes.
difference a decade or a century
Right?
makes.
That's
Well, you
crazy.
adjust for inflation, and it still doesn't go as far as it used to. So pretty crazy. And you know, I'm a big Twins fan, and if you've been watching the Twins this year, man, they've just been an absolute
Home run.
blast. They're about 5 games up above Cleveland right now in the AL Central. But the big deal is they've been smashing home run records left and right. They have a rally squirrel at their home
I love
games.
that.
And they've got a manager named Rocco. It's like a trifecta of this is hilarious.
Good stuff. It's all good stuff.
It's been a blast to watch.
Nostradamus predicted all of that.
I think so, too. Yeah, you can go back into the Old Testament. A lot of this is in there. You just got to know what to look for.
Yes.
All right, so there you go. A little sporting news to
right.
head things off this morning.
Well, I appreciate that because I am such a
You have
sports
no
fan.
idea what I've just talked about.
No, I understood the money part, but some of that didn't make much sense. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris on Sunny 93.3.
Before you know it, Christmas will be here. Are you ready? If you plan to use a credit card while shopping, make sure you have the very best credit card for you. It's free to click around and see what we can do for you at bettercreditcards.net. We have options from many different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. You are listening to Sunny 93.3. It's time right now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm rough, tough, and ready. I'm a heck of a man. Eat my beans and weenies from a frying pan.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I love to wrestle bears and lasso ducks. Run over possums in my government truck.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves all the campers and the animals too. If you're picking on critters, I'm coming after you.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir. I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Oh, Heidi and John was oh, man.
Good way to start the day.
You're skinny little radio rangers. Gather on the radio. Going to lay a little critter knowledge on you. Now, I know if you ever go with mommy and daddy to the grocery stores, prices don't matter to you because you're a kid. That's fine. But somebody's got to pay the tab. Somebody's got to get the groceries in the house. And if you've been in the meat section lately, stuff ain't cheap. Beef.
Right? I know.
Holy cow.
What's for dinner?
Well, even though I insist mainly on beans and weenies,
Yeah.
mix
From
them up in my
a
frying
frying
pan out there. Did notice, for instance, braised chicken has gone through the roof as well. But here's the thing. Here's the skinny. In the city of Sioux Falls, and I don't spend a lot of time in the city because I'm an outdoorsy type of guy. I am a ranger after all.
Yes.
But Sioux Falls, you can have up to half a dozen chickens in your backyard. You can raise them as your own. You can do whatever you like with them. Totally legal to have chickens now in the old homestead right here in the city limits.
Yeah.
Well, here's
Raise
the skinny.
eggs.
Somebody's got to buy those chickens. On the other hand, geese are free and they're everywhere. You can raise geese just like chickens for their meat and their eggs.
Really?
And if you decide you like one of them, they will bond with you, and they're nasty. You can use it as a guard dog.
No kidding.
It's a fact.
Really?
If you've ever been out on the trails, you ever been chased by
Oh,
a goose?
yeah.
Oh,
They chase
they
you,
mean
they're
business.
hissing.
I had one,
They
yeah.
mean business.
Yeah.
But they do make great pets if you get them when they're young, and they actually do bond with you.
Okay.
It's a fact.
Train them to like you instead of hate you.
Yeah, which is why, if you look real close, the new budget for Sioux Falls has just been passed. About the only thing I like is, along with a couple dog parks, they are doing a goose park.
Are they really? That's going to be nice.
If you own a goose, one of them lovely lofts downtown, you got nowhere to run your goose, you're going to have a goose park.
Nice.
They can fly up to 40 miles an hour, so it's going to be a really big park.
It's about dang time.
Friendly reminder, this Saturday for you out-of-state hunters coming in for the deer season. Again, I know, just for the proper licensing, it's upwards around $300. Myself, my associates, Rico Raccoon, and Punchy the Gun-Toting Possum will be parked behind Love's Truck Stop off I-90 on North Cliff from 9 to noon. Saturday, $50, 15 minutes will get you the documentation you need to go on the hunt. Save yourself some bucks. Also, for a bonus, limited time, you buy a Ranger Dan official hat, badge, and or taser. You get a $5 gift certificate to El's Oasis, nestled on the mighty Missouri, right outside Chamberlain. So, that's it for me. Kids!
Dan's discount.
Pay attention. Go to church, say your prayers. Stay in school. Well, that one's a toss-up. Eat your vegetables. Don't play soccer and don't let me get you wearing Crocs. Ranger Dan out? Yes, sir.
Again, Ranger Dan's Critter Corner right here on Sunny 93.3.
If you have a drug problem, don't let it ruin your life. You can be in treatment as soon as tomorrow, and you can start to get clean in as little as 7 days. Take the first step to get drugs out of your life at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything, so you really have nothing to lose. Timeforrehab.com. Start your new life. You deserve it. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Sunny 93.3. Thanks for listening to Water Cooler Talk, brought to you by Aqua One. We've got Mr. Dan Farris here with the news, the skinny, the what's what in Sioux Falls. What do we have going on?
I'm feeling kind of a sense of pride. In all seriousness, you and I spent a couple hours out in the mud in a cornfield yesterday north of Sioux Falls
with
off
some
229.
mighty fine people,
but
though.
it was an amazing morning.
It was.
Sunny Radio, our crew, John and myself, were invited to come out. We helped them out with some sound and canopies and things like that. It was the State Veterans Cemetery groundbreaking yesterday.
Very nice.
The weather, and I was surprised, there had to be close to 300 people.
Yeah, a couple hundred people for sure. It was
awesome.
A sea of umbrellas and just other people that didn't bring an umbrella just stood out in the rain and just took it.
Yeah,
Like, it's fine. It's water.
Color
I've seen
Guard
much
was
worse.
there. The American Legion Post 15 Men's Choir launching things off. Senator Mike Rounds gave a nice speech, as did Mayor Paul Tenhanken. Things headed up by Governor Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
And it was all pretty powerful stuff.
It was very nice, and I've got some photos I posted on our Facebook page from the event, and then I also got a bunch of photos that were sent to me from the governor's office, and I posted those as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So you'll find that at facebook.com/sunnyradio. So the photos they took are a lot nicer, like they used a camera. I was using a smartphone.
Cell phone.
Yeah, so snapping just some random shots, but no, it's real. It was a great event.
Well, this has been over 2 decades in the making.
Yeah,
and it's finally going to come to fruition. Oh, our pal Mark Nelson from Maximum Promotions did a heck of a job too. American flags were lining
everywhere,
the roads leading up to it.
Beautiful.
The entire perimeter
Yeah.
of the grounds is going to be
that's
established at. I mean, it was really something else.
Yeah, if you ever need flags for an event, reach out to Mark. Those guys are great folks, and they have quite the impressive setup. So
tell him Dan Farris sent you. You'll get a receipt for your purchase.
if you tell him John sent you, you won't even get the receipt.
No, he'll hang up immediately. It'll be awesome.
Shake your hand.
So there you go. And final note, Governor Kristi Noem, she's sussy.
One of my favorite things from the event yesterday, by the way, Mayor Paul Tenhanken was there. We had just seen Mayor Paul Tenhanken last week.
Yeah, we were at an event last week with him. Yeah.
Dan was literally sitting next to him.
I was like 3 feet away from him during the entire speech.
And then we said something about him being at the event. I was like, "Oh, you were there?" I was like, "What?" and this is the best part right here. Paul Tenhanken, then Mayor Paul Tenhanken, said to Dan, he goes, "Oh, so you got to listen to my boring speech twice in a row?" And Dan said, "No, I actually didn't pay attention to a word of it."
Didn't hear a word.
He didn't didn't know how to respond to that. It was very funny. Dan, you just moved up a notch in my head there. I was like, oh, this guy.
How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
There's a book somewhere I haven't read.
Witty Comebacks by Dan Farris. All right. Coming up in a bit, we're going to get to... we have entertainment news on the way, but I have an interview with a young lady that's got an event coming up at the Siouxland Public Libraries. Going to chat with her first. That's on the way. Thanks for listening to Sunny 93.3.
The average household has thousands of dollars in credit card debt. If you find yourself in that position and you're making minimum payments, you could be in debt for a long time. Make sure you have the very best card with the very best rates at bettercreditcards.net. We work with different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net, bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got Dr. Kaya Ansors joining us today, and she's got a program coming up at the West Branch, Prairie West Branch of the Siouxland Libraries in Sioux Falls this Saturday, September 14th from 1 to 3. Dr. Ansors, how are you today?
I am doing well. How about you?
Fantastic. Now, the program is called Writing as Mindfulness Practice. So that's the program that you're going to be doing. Tell me a little bit about what we're going to learn and you know how we can be a part of this.
Well, when you come to the library, we're going to engage in some writing, of course. So make sure you bring a pencil or pen and a notebook. It can be a fancy journal, or it can just be a spiral notebook or some sheets of paper. And we will go through some practices of how to get into this particular kind of writing. So if you've ever had fear around writing, this is one way to dispel it. So it's really good for anybody that wants to get more comfortable in their writing and people that already love writing, but it's also for people who just want to find another way to connect more deeply within themselves to the deepest part of themselves. And also, if they have a belief in the beyond, it really, I think, centers us and gets us closer to that beyond as it comes through us.
That is fantastic. Now, I was just going to say, I'm reading in here that you're trained in psychology, in philosophical theology, and religion, and all of that kind of comes together in this particular program that you're talking about, doesn't it?
It sure does, yes. And I think that what's wonderful about writing is that it can be both secular as well as religious, and so we'll address both of those in the workshop, and in our own practice we can develop something that works for us to get centered. These days we're all so distracted with our devices and things like that. This is a really good way to sort of sort out those thoughts and not be living in confusion and distraction.
So let's talk about mindfulness for a second, because that's part of this program, mindfulness. Now, what is mindfulness for people who maybe don't quite understand what that even means?
Oh, yes, let's step back for that. So mindfulness is kind of stepping back from ourselves and not being totally immersed in the hurry and scurry of life. And so when we have mindfulness, what we do is we kind of step back and watch our thoughts without having judgment around them. And then as we practice sort of a mindfulness practice, kind of the way someone might do prayer, or this happens often when people are maybe knitting or crocheting. It also happens when people are running or fishing. So as you kind of get into that calm spot and you can look at your emotions in your daily life in a little bit more objective way, not in the middle of it, that's kind of what mindfulness is. And then the ideal is to be able to take that peacefulness into our daily lives.
That sounds very relaxing. And there are some people who do things like yoga, and there are people who do meditation. This kind of sounds like it might even be in that same category, but there's writing involved. So the thing that's neat is when you're done, you can kind of go back and even see what was done, can't you?
That's exactly right. I have tried lots of different forms of meditation, including the physical ones and all sorts of different kinds of mindfulness. For me, writing is the one I really go to whenever I'm feeling confused or overwhelmed or angry or just misunderstood. It's the one that I really it is the most clear, and it makes me go the farthest. We humans, we are involved with words, and somehow with words we're able to get our mind to go deeper into the problem.
Yeah.
And so and no one else can do this for us. I mean, we can't, if you go to counseling or something like that, you have to relate the whole story to them. And not only that, they're not you. And so we have to, in the end of the day, we have to find these things out for ourselves. And so it's very much a practice that I think takes me even farther than other sitting practices or exercise practices, because it is so specific. And things pop up that surprise me every time. I'll be writing about, say, my anger, and all of a sudden I'll be able to see it from all the angles. I can see it from their angles, but I can also see it from my own past history and how this built up and how this trigger is bigger than just that little moment. And do I want this to be a really big thing or not? And then I can decide. I can decide in a rational way. Maybe I do want it to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Other times, not so much. Right.
So does it have to be, you had mentioned bring a pencil or a pen. Could I type this on a keyboard as well, or is there something special about writing it out with your hand?
Oh, that is a perfect question. You can type it, obviously. Writing is writing. But the problem is that we have trained our minds and our brains that when we get on a keyboard, we're going to be distracted because we are going to go check our email, we're going to go check social media, whatever. And so we don't fully relax into the writing process. We tend to still jump around. So we can't quite get there. The other thing is that there's been some research that shows that handwriting itself has a sort of a process that sorts out our brain in a way that's more effective by drawing out those letters. You don't have to go quickly. This is because it's a mindfulness practice. You can go slowly, although sometimes I do find that it goes fast. And when I'm going fast, I actually write faster than I type, which is crazy. But once you get into the flow, sort of the last stage of this, it goes very quickly.
Well, the program is coming up at the Prairie West Branch Library this Saturday, September 14th from 1 to 3. If I'd like to go, do I pre-register? Do I just show up? How does that work?
You can register at the Siouxland Libraries, and you can also register at my website. So the Siouxland Library is siouxlandlib.org, and my website is kayaansorge.com.
Awesome. And I'm going to throw a link to both of those on our Facebook page to make it really easy to find. Dr. Ansorge, thank you again for taking the time to chat.
Oh, thank you, John, so much. This was really fun.
And it's coming up this Saturday, September 14th from 1 to 3 at the Prairie West Branch Library in Sioux Falls. I'm going to throw all of the information at facebook.com/sunnyradio.
If you can't have a drink without it leading to another drink and another drink, maybe it's time to get help. There are programs designed to help take alcohol out of your life for good at timeforrehab.com. Don't let a drinking problem spill over into other areas of your life. Get help to quit drinking and start living the life you truly deserve at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. It's time now for entertainment news of the day with Mr. Dan Farris.
Everybody, celebrities. I fabulous. You see them out there doing the talk show circuit. Maybe it's late night. Maybe it's hanging out with Ellen. They're so pleasant. They're so loving. They're just like you and me. But behind the scenes, they torture their personal assistants. They swear at those poor people. They throw objects at their heads. They're just angry all the time. Why do they stay, you ask? Well, their personal assistants are deeply in love with them and don't know any better. Let's get on with it. It's crazy, I say. Crazy. If I had a personal assistant, I'd probably be really nice to them. Wouldn't pay them anything, but it would be a great relationship. What's going on in the box office? You guys seen any movies lately? Of course you have.
No,
we haven't seen
not
one
in the
lately.
theaters.
Well, here's the thing. This It thing just took it by storm. What is it, the third adaptation of
two.
Stephen King's?
Isn't
No?
it? Oh.
3.
It's
The original
awful.
had John Boy in it from the Waltons.
Okay, that was the original. Then there's been 2 more. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is, I don't know, 91 mil in its first weekend of release.
That's because people love scary movies.
And they did brilliant guerrilla marketing leading up to the opening.
Just
They really did.
tying some balloons.
In fact, they did. I think there were some in Sioux Falls, too. Red balloons tied to sewer grates.
Yeah.
Yes,
There were people
Pennywise.
freaking out about it online. They're like, "Oh, this was in my neighborhood." Is there a clown
Why would
down
you be
there?
scared? So stupid.
It's just a red balloon.
Yeah, it's a balloon. But it was, I agree, it was
brilliant marketing. It was.
It was.
We all float down here.
Well, and the amazing thing is, think about this. Just tying a red balloon to a sewer grate there, or what? That's not the right word. Sewer grate isn't the right thing. What do you call them? Drain?
Sewer grate.
Anyway.
That's what I call them. I don't know where you come from. But.
So, just tying a red balloon to it, and people instantly knew what that was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool. The fact that that's all you have to do, and people think of a movie, you know?
That's it. Angel Has Fallen really has fallen. Had just a bang, and it was number one last week. Only pulled in $6 million over this past weekend.
That's one I do want to see it.
Good Boys at 5.3. The Lion King is still up there at number 4.
Get that.
Well over a half $500 million so far. And the movie we'd kind of like to see, Overcomer, is at number 5.
That is amazing.
It grossed almost $4 million over the weekend. Doesn't sound like a lot. It has a total of $25 million so far, but keep in mind it only cost $5 million to produce.
Correct. Yeah.
So
I know
That's
that
fantastic.
they don't spend the same amount that some of the big companies do when they're doing the faith-based films. The Kendrick brothers, by the way, are awesome guys. Very, very nice guys. And I love that they're able to pull these together on a much smaller budget, because a lot of the people that are doing the work, they know it's a ministry, so they're not charging as much. And
well, look at It Chapter 2. It pulled in $91 million. I guarantee you they ain't made bank yet.
Yeah, probably not.
They're not even
sure,
at break
probably
even
not.
yet.
Yeah.
So
Well, Dan, thank you for that update.
it was my pleasure, you guys.
We did have our very first meeting of the bingo gang, and I just have to say I'm very disappointed in Dan and Heidi. Neither of you were in their first bingo gang.
I was babysitting, so
Plus,
I
she's
could
the
not
leader of the
leave.
gang, and you decided to do your first bingo gang at like 10 o'clock, and
Yeah.
I've already watched Murder, She Wrote and gone to bed. So up yours, John.
Join us this Saturday night
Good day, sir.
at 10.
I said good day.
I'm going to figure out how to do it, but we're going to somehow have online registration for the bingo gang. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Facebook.com/Sunny Radio. I'll put some details there. Thanks for listening to Sunny 93.3.